Okay, hello everybody. This is Andrew Westerman from Siklu. I'm the Sales Director for Western Europe for Siklu. And in today's presentation and webinar, we're going to take you through the BDUK voucher scheme and how we believe E-band is a concrete business opportunity in terms of fulfilling the demand generated by the BDUK voucher scheme. I'm doing this presentation in conjunction with Ofcom, who are one of our UK distributors, and we're going to take you through the overall voucher scheme, the opportunity, the different technology choices, and why we believe that E-band is the best way to fulfill. Okay, so in terms of introducing Siklu, Siklu is an Israeli company based in Tel Aviv, and we are the world leaders in E-band and millimeter wave systems. We have over 7,000 links installed now around the world, and our products are a unique combination of form factor, functionality and price. In terms of Ofcom, they're one of our major distributors in the UK, and they are a value-added distributor of wireless and cloud security and software. The head office is in Oxfordshire, and Ofcom has a worldwide reach with a unique combination of support and technology in partnership with a number of wireless manufacturers, of which Siklu is one. Okay, in terms of broadband in the UK, the real driver behind this scheme and the reason the government is supporting it so heavily is that broadband is an essential driver for business. More and more businesses are requiring high-speed connectivity, and capacity demands are growing exponentially, driven by the proliferation of mobile and fixed IP access devices and the access to the cloud that businesses now really need. And on the back of that, the UK internet and IP data traffic is really growing exponentially. And many businesses in the UK, surprisingly, are very much underserved in terms of broadband and high-speed internet access. So, the government has launched this scheme to really help to try and improve the situation and make a step change in broadband access, data capacity and speed. So in terms of the UK SuperFast broadband connection scheme, I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview of it now. Currently, as of March this year, there were only 3.8 million SuperFast broadband connections in the UK. And when we mean super fast, we mean with a connection speed of greater than 30 megabits. So looking at that means that over 80% of the UK small and medium enterprises have a broadband connection of less than 30 megabits per second. So there's a big business opportunity there to take high-speed broadband to all of these businesses and give them a step change in capacity and speed. In terms of the BDUK voucher scheme, the government has set up this initiative to help these businesses benefit from broadband connections in excess of 30 megabits. The budget has been allocated to 22 cities across the UK, and the way the scheme works is that eligible businesses receive a voucher for up to £3,000 to cover the cost of the equipment and installation costs. Now, to be eligible for the scheme, you need to be a small medium enterprise with fewer than 250 employees or a sole trader. Your turnover needs to be less than 40 million, and you need to be located in one of the 22 superconnected cities. Now, as a supplier, to benefit from the scheme, it's really key that you as companies register as a BDUK supplier. And we've put an email address here where you can actually apply to be registered as a BDUK supplier, and also there's a website where you can go to and we'll give you full details of the scheme, which we'll also cover later. So in terms of the process of the BDUK voucher scheme, an eligible business can apply for a BDUK voucher. They then get given a voucher for up to £3,000 to cover the installation costs, and they are then able to spend that voucher with registered BDUK suppliers. So in terms of technology resellers in the UK, we believe there's a huge opportunity here for you to register to become a BDUK supplier. And also in terms of operators, I think there's a big opportunity here as well to become a registered BDUK supplier. And once that's done, you are then eligible to receive the £3,000 vouchers that small and medium enterprises will receive from the government. So on the face of it, a great opportunity. There's a lot of funding from the government behind this, and they're really trying to make an effort to help businesses in the UK benefit from high-speed broadband connectivity. So the question mark, once a business has the voucher and you as a supplier are registered, there's then the technology challenge and choice. How do you deliver this high-speed connection to small and medium enterprises and make a step change in speed? There are a range of technologies, there are a range of business cases and costs to do this, if you like. And really, what we've tried to narrow down the choices here to give you an overview of what is possible. And really, we think the potential technologies are over copper cables, over fibre, over unlicensed wireless, over licensed microwave and licensed E-band wireless connectivity. And what we're going to do now, we're going to take you through these range of options, give you the pros and cons, and then we'll really focus in on E-band wireless connectivity to highlight why we think that is the most suitable, if you like, and the most beneficial in terms of cost and capacity to deliver this scheme. So the first option is copper. The pros of copper is it's widely available. It's generally everywhere in the UK. But the cons of it, it's generally quite limited in capacity. ADSL2 is limited to 24 megabits. VDSL2 is limited to about 30 megabits within 1 mile of the exchange. And this is generally the limitation with copper. The speeds fall significantly the further you get away from the exchange. And also in terms of OPEX, any fibre copper circuit is generally an OPEX-based circuit rather than CAPEX. So the other option over copper is DOCSIS, but that's limited to the cable operators, and there's generally quite limited coverage with that, in city centres, and it's mostly OPEX, and also the bandwidth is shared amongst many users. So as a business, you don't have a predictable quality of service, performance and bandwidth, let's say. In terms of fibre, fibre is being deployed more and more now across the UK, and the big benefit of fibre is there is potentially infinite capacity, depending on what type of technology that you have on the end of the fibre. And generally, fibre is perceived to be highly reliable. It's only really when you get fibre breaks or cuts that the circuit will go down. In terms of the cons with fibre, although it's being deployed in more and more places now, it's generally quite limited in availability. As of mid of 2013, there were less than 200,000 fibre business connections in place. And in terms of new fibre, if you wanted to lay new and dig new fibre, you're talking about costs in excess of £50 per metre. And it's also, the disruption and the long lead times in terms of digging up streets, etc. And of course, obviously, the other option is to lease fibre, from a third party. But again, very expensive, and it's an OPEX-based circuit which can give very high costs over the years of the agreement. Another option is unlicensed wireless, and by unlicensed wireless, we generally mean sub-6 gigahertz frequencies in the UK. The pros of these bands are that they are readily available, they are very inexpensive, often free, and that gives a high capex to OPEX benefit from the BDUK voucher scheme in that the equipment is generally quite low, the licenses are often free, and the links can benefit from long distance connectivity, tens of kilometres very often. The cons in this space, and this is becoming more and more of an issue in the UK, is that the spectrum is getting very congested, particularly in the urban areas and the city centres. So what this means as a business is that the performance of your connection really cannot be guaranteed. It may work well initially, but if you get other links deployed in the area, the performance of the link can often be degraded due to interference, and that hits the availability and the throughput. The next step up in terms of availability, let's say, is licensed microwave. And by licensed microwave, we mean microwave links in the 6 to 42 gigahertz band. Now, the pros of this is that the spectrum is readily available, albeit it is becoming more and more congested. The licenses and the equipment, generally are, they're not hugely expensive, let's say, and it's possible to cover long distances, up to 30, 40 kilometers, as long as you've got the right frequency. In terms of the cons, it can be quite a complex installation, often complex frequency planning, and you often need an indoor space for the indoor part of the unit if it's a split mount type of system, along with a coaxial cable run up to the antenna. And the indoor unit can be bulky, the antennas can be large in terms of the lower frequencies and longer distances. But really, I would say the main issue with licensed microwave compared to unlicensed is that the annual license fee from Ofcom can be quite high. Really starts at around £450 per year, depending on the frequency and channel size, but can go up to around £1,000 plus, and that's payable every year. But licensed microwave, it is a valid option, I would say, to deliver connectivity under this scheme. Now, in terms of E-band, and this is the option we really want to promote today, E-band is a relatively new band in the UK, and there is 10 gigahertz of spectrum in the 71 to 76 gigahertz and 81 to 86 gigahertz band. Now, these frequencies, the benefit, because there is a large amount of spectrum, it allows gigabit capacities over the air. And on top of that, the real benefit in the UK is that the E-band is licensed by Ofcom. And that really guarantees an interference-free connection, along with carrier-grade reliability, and with a gigabit throughput. So when you add those 3 points together, it's a very attractive band for broadband connectivity. The licensing scheme in the UK is very quick and easy, with a web-based interaction with Ofcom, and it's very inexpensive, with it's only £50 per link per year. Also, in terms of the frequencies in E-band, it allows very good spectral reuse, and this means you can use the same frequency over and over again within a reasonable area because of the narrow beam width, which is less than 1 degree. And this also makes the link very secure in that it's very hard to detect and also to intercept because of that narrow beam width. And on top of that, Siklu also offer AES encryption at 128 and 256 that can make the link really totally secure. If there are some limitations with E-band that you should be aware of, the frequency does require a clear line of sight between the A end and the B end. And in terms of distance, if you want a gigabit connection, it will really work up to about 4 kilometers. After that, you can still get a reliable connection, but the capacity and throughput will start to fall away. And from Siklu's perspective, we offer an online planning tool where you can look at the locations of the A end and the B end, plan the link over the web, and you'll see what sort of throughput and performance you will get between those 2 points before you look into the deployment of E-band even further. So in terms of the Ofcom consultation on E-band, the license fee is £50 a year, but Ofcom does have a consultation in progress at the moment where they're looking to modify the licensing process to cater for the mobile backhaul business where maybe a higher level of regulation is required, but also to cater for the enterprise and vertical industry market where the low license fee of £50 per year means that there's been a significant uptake of connectivity in this band. So the way it works today is that the whole band is self-coordinated. So you as an applicant will look at the Ofcom database when you're looking to deploy a link, and you'll see whether anyone has deployed a link in your area. If they haven't, you can then register the link, pay your annual fee of £50 per year, and you can deploy an E-band link with either TDD modulation or FDD modulation. And we'll go more into that later in the presentation. But also in parallel to that, Ofcom is also looking at a more coordinated approach, a more regulated approach to handle the the requirements, if you like, of mobile backhaul. And the next slide will show you what the current proposal is from Ofcom, albeit that this is not fully finalised yet. Ofcom is probably going to make a decision on this in the next few months, but this is currently how we believe the consultation will conclude. So you can see from the slide there is a self-coordinated block and there is a coordinated block in the lower part of each band. So in this self-coordinated block, which is the most relevant for this presentation and application, again, it will be exactly the same as the current light license regime, where you as an applicant or your supplier can check the Ofcom database to see if any link is already registered in your area. If it's not, you can actually register your link, pay the annual fee of £50, and in those bands, the self-coordinated part, TDD and FDD E-band connections are allowed. Now in the fully coordinated block, this will be a formal application to Ofcom. Ofcom will check the proposed link and check any interference, and then they will then levy an annual fee of £450 per link per year. And in this band, they will allow only FDD E-band links only, which is full duplex E-band. Now the benefit, and Siklu is very happy with this proposal because our products are tunable and support both of these proposed frequency regulations and management. So if you buy a Siklu E-band link, you can be sure that from a licensing perspective, it can fit either in the self-coordinated block or in the coordinated block, and we offer TDD E-band links and we also offer FDD E-band links. So from our perspective, we're very supportive of this proposal and very happy with it. So in general, this makes E-band a very attractive frequency band to use for, let's say, high-speed broadband connectivity in the UK, particularly if you're using the self-coordinated block where the license fee is only £50 a year. And on the back of that, it's possible to get 1 gigabit connectivity speeds through that band. Now, in terms of licensed E-band, I'm going to take you through the pros and the cons of it. As we said, it's very high speed. You can get connections up to 1 gigabit per second. And in parallel to that, you can get carrier-grade performance. It's possible to design links for 3 nines, 4 nines, 5 nines, depending on your requirements, with a 1 gigabit throughput up to about 4 kilometers. The spectrum is readily available. The equipment is now very inexpensive. E-band, 4 or 5 years ago, the price of a link was in the region of £25,000. Today, you can get an E-band link in the TDD modulation scheme from around £2,500 up to about £4,000 to £5,000 in the FDD modulation scheme, depending on configuration. Now, based on that price level, that gives a very high capex to OPEX ratio benefit from the BDUK voucher scheme, in that much of the equipment cost and installation cost can be covered by the BDUK voucher, which is for £3,000. And also, due to the narrow beam width, you can actually reuse this type of connectivity a number of times in the same area because of the low chance of interference. And this makes applications like connecting up multiple tenants in a business park via E-band very attractive, in that you can put in a fibre-served hub, for example, and you can then put out E-band spurs from that hub site to connect up many businesses on a business park and actually give them very high-speed internet connectivity. And as we mentioned earlier, the only two things to really bear in mind is that to make it, for an E-band connection to work, you need a clear line of sight between the A and B end. And also in terms of distance, if you want the 1 gigabit throughput, you're looking between 4 to 5 kilometers maximum to maintain that throughput. And that's not a vendor-specific thing. It's a physics thing. It's not possible really to get 1 gigabit connections over much longer distances than that with high reliability. Now, in terms of Siklu, our products are very field proven now. We have over 7,000 links installed around the world, used by tier 1 fixed and mobile operators, but also with a large number of enterprise users, typically wireless ISPs, universities, schools, police forces, etc. We have got a huge range of customers, and on the back of that, they get a very high availability product with carrier grade performance. Due to the way that Siklu manufactures and designs its products, the power consumption is very low, and that means the MTBF is very high, in excess of 70 years. Typically in E-band, you'll find that most vendors quote an MTBF of around 25 years, but Siklu is probably 3 times that due to the design of the product. In terms of some examples of the stability of our products, we've had a link installed through the monsoon season in Mumbai in India, and we had a link in the US that also came through the Hurricane Sandy incident a few years ago. All of the products are very simple and quick to install. They're very small and light, and due to the low power consumption, can all be powered by PoE. And in parallel to that, they all use standard cables and connectors, which really makes it very straightforward to get an E-band connection in place today. And on the back of that, there's a very rich feature set with both TDD and FDD modulation supported, 1 gig over-the-air capacity, and a very powerful layer 2 switch that is fully Metro Ethernet 4 compliant and allows functionalities such as VLAN configuration, quality of service, policing, etc. And then on top of that, all of Siklu's products support AES encryption, both at 128 and 256 level. In terms of applications for E-band connectivity, and many of these are relevant for the BDUK voucher scheme, we have campus networks in terms of health, education, corporates, business parks, etc. I think it's the perfect technology to give high-speed connectivity to companies that fit in that market. CCTV is a huge market for us as well. We're seeing more and more CCTV backhaul now moving on to wireless, and in particularly licensed wireless because of the predictable performance and quality of service. Also, in terms of that, we have cloud computing, LAN extensions. We sell a lot of links into the standby market where the main link may be over fiber, but they want a completely diverse standby route, and we often sell links over wireless to fulfill that. And then, of course, on the back of that, we have the service provider market and large ISPs where they use wireless connectivity in terms of E-band for backhaul and last mile connections in the place of where you would usually have a fiber or a lease line, let's say. And the return on investment by deploying E-band in place of a fiber or a high-speed lease line can actually be quite compelling, literally within a matter of months. So just to sum up, we believe that the BDUK scheme it's a great initiative by the government, and there is, on the back of that, there is a concrete business opportunity in the UK. The first step is to become a BDUK registered supplier, and that makes you eligible for all of the businesses that actually receive a £3,000 connection voucher to spend that voucher with you. And we believe that E-band is the best medium to deliver this high-speed connectivity via. And in terms of Siklu's products, we offer 1 gig capacity over the air, we offer a carrier-grade performance, a fast and easy deployment, and a very quick return on your investment, because the products are the lowest priced E-band products on the market, and they really are a unique combination of form factor, functionality, and price. And I think the combination of that and the BDUK scheme makes this a very attractive business opportunity, which is why this is something we want to promote to you today. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and that concludes the presentation for today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.